Yeah, I've enjoyed watching Archer in this test match so far. He hasn't got a wicket. He's been used in the right way. Come on, try and make an impact. But that doesn't mean just bowling short. I think sometimes you confuse coming in and doing an impact. Remember, Stuart Broad used to be the enforcer. Try and make an impact. Very important. Joe Root goes up to him at the beginning of each spell and goes, how do you think you're going to take a wicket with this? But I don't care about runs so much, but how do you think you're most likely to take a wicket? And that should vary according to the condition, because it shouldn't just be a default that we're going to go short of people and have scouts out everywhere. He knows about the pattern that if you have the threat of the short ball there, but you also trying to protect your stumps at the same time, you're almost worried about two things. If it's just short ball, then you know exactly what you need to do as a batter. So Archer has the advantage of the pace and the hostility, but he's also able to get the ball to move off the seam.
It's interesting, there's been a lot of discussion about Jofra Archer. I think the most important thing are the stats and the wickets. I think a lot of people with Archer look at his speeds. Every time he comes on, I've had tweets in, emails in saying what speed is he bowling, what broadcasters, commentators highlight the speed. Joe Root was asked at the top by Ian Ward, what role do you want Archer to play? He identified a role. His role is to take wickets. Whatever speed enables you to take it. 32 for none.
Hey guy. Hi there. Welcome to HIMS.
Should have done it years ago, and I feel like the young stud that I always imagined I was.
Outstanding product. Works above and beyond our expectations.
This has been a life changer, even in just a few weeks.
Featured in GQ, Forbes, and Men's Health. Find out what all the buzz is about.
Go to forhims.com/ED and get started with a free online visit while supplies last.
There's that movement. And we showed you a pitch map, and Andrew Strauss described it as okay. I think with that movement, Wokes and all the England bowlers can go a little bit fuller and say, drive me. Anderson liked it. The appreciation from Anderson at mid-off, as if to say, come on, I think we can go a bit fuller now with this movement. We've got a decent shine on it. Too short.
Well, Shan Masood will be disappointed with that. Anything short of a length does seem to sit up to be hit on this pitch, and that's why Nasser Hussain is exactly right. England have to be full of a length, if anything. There is still some movement there, a little bit of swing, a bit of nibble, but as the wicket slows down and as the ball gets older, entice that drive.
Goff had a huge impact on Chris Wokes in the New Zealand tour, actually, where Goff was bowling coach. Velcroed himself to Goff. Goff just said to him on flatter pitch, just hits a harder length. Really run up, don't just put it there, put maximum effort in. He said he was like a sponge, Chris Wokes. He was amazed how much he listened and tried to put things into practice. Interesting to see in the future. I mean, Chris Wokes, it's a well-documented fact, away from home he gets his wickets at 50 apiece. So he's completely two different cricketers. 22 in England, 50 away. Goff has been working with him how to get wickets away from home. You can learn, you can improve, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Bowling coach there as well. Chris Silverwood, main coach, the England side at the moment. Movement. 34 for none, third man.
Well, why are England dropping catches? Why is the wicketkeeper dropping catches? Well, it's, as Shane Warne said, it's because of the wobble in the case of Jos Buttler. If we have a look at the chance that went down this morning, watch the ball. It stops rotating, no rotation at all, like a Ronaldo free kick, and it wobbles and Buttler doesn't get a glove on it. What happens when the ball does rotate and there is some movement? It goes in a straighter line. So this is a different outside edge. You can see the ball turning over. It's a straight path straight into the middle of Jos Buttler's gloves. What about the slips? Well, they are standing very close. This is where Pakistan slip fielders were to Mohammed Abbas, who is under 80 miles an hour. We'll come back to that after this ball from Jofra Archer. So if we look at where Pakistan's slip fielders are to Mohammed Abbas, who is under 80 miles an hour, and then superimpose where England's slip fielders are to Jimmy Anderson, who's 85 miles an hour, they are a lot closer. Now, you both fielded in the slips. It's a difficult one, isn't it? You want to be close enough, you have to be close enough for it to carry, but then it is coming at you exceptionally hard. And in fairness, last night it was a little bit gloomy, but at least England's fielders, the slip fielders, are far enough up to give them a chance.
Yeah, very good, Ian. Buy a ticket, win the lottery, they say, in that slip. Wouldn't get up. I just want to ask Ian Ward a question, actually. Usually, Wardy, when they nick it, would it be fair to say that it doesn't wobble? That's one of the rare occasions when you've nicked it and it wobbles. Have I got that right?
Absolutely. I've done a lot of work interviewing keepers, Ian Healy, Matt Pryor, Jos Buttler, you name it, and they are more concerned when the ball passes the outside edge, and specific bowlers do it more. Graham Onions was a nightmare for Matt Pryor, he used to say.
Archer's interested, I think too high again because of the length. No review from Root.
Inside edge there as well from Shan Masood. I think we saw that yesterday with Rory Burns's drop, wasn't it? That was a flash, and because he was so close, it almost hit him before he reacted. So he can be, I suppose he's got some sort of reason for that going down. Generally, when you see a good cordon, it's usually a settled cordon with players that have played a lot of Test cricket together. And when you look at the England cordon at the moment, outside of Joe Root, you've got Rory Burns, who's played 21 Test matches, Dom Sibley only in his 13, and of course we've got Zach Crawley in his 9th. So these guys aren't used to being in that cordon together, and are also quite nervy. You know, I think early in your career you're more worried about the ones that might go down.
One that would slightly put me off, actually, is Burns at second slip because of his late movement into position. He also goes very wide. So if you're at third or first, you'll take your movements from the keeper. Jos Buttler goes down early. Burns goes down reasonably late, maybe because he was a keeper, and he also goes very wide in his stance. He almost jumps into a keeping pose. But always at third slip, be keeping an eye on Burns. Where are you going? Are you going to end up ahead of me? For none. That you can see Butler's down, Root's down, he's up, and then he goes down late. He's improved actually from the first innings. Maybe they've had a bit of a word.
One thing you want from your slip corner is just for them to be relaxed when the ball is delivered. You don't want any tension there. And Burns looks a little bit tense to me. Duncan Fletcher always used to talk about just getting yourself in a really nice, relaxed position. Often just, you know, he had no problems with people having their hands on their knees, just so that you allow the ball to come to you when it does come in your direction.
Who's the best you played with? I mean, mine was easy. Two, actually. Mark Waugh was just unbelievable. Essex caught things that you should never catch. And Nick Knight was blooming good in that. I have to say, Knighty had a dodgy technique. He called it reverse hands. But he was very good. Who was the best you had?
I thought Marcus Trescothick was excellent when I was early days in the England team. For me, not just the catches he took, but his attitude to practice as well. He just practiced thousands and thousands of catches.
Them earlier, they work hard, make no mistake. They really are working hard at it and trying to get used to each other. That'll probably be the slip cordon for a while. Sibley and Burns at the top of the order, Crawley, Root obviously the captain. Balance between how many you catch as well. If you catch too many, you mentioned Marcus caught a lot, but you end up with sore hands.
No! Best opposition slip catcher, well, Graham Smith was excellent at first slip for South Africa. I don't think I remember him dropping any. And also Mahela Jayawardene against the spinners was extraordinary. Murali took so many catches off Murali, and I tell you, it's so much more difficult as a slipper to the spinner.
Wider on the crease there, Chris Wokes.
What we don't know, someone like Dom Sibley or Zach Crawley who are fielding third or fourth slip, to what extent they've been doing that in their careers up to this point, because it is very different, you know. And certainly at third slip you've got that issue of, do I watch the ball, do I watch the bat?
Stop from Butler, so it's 4-leg buys. Maiden, it's 34 for none. Pakistan openers can go to drinks and they'll be reasonably happy with that first hour.
Australia Tour of England, live and exclusive on Willow. Pakistan Tour of England, live and exclusive on Willow, in association with Daawat, the finest basmati rice, perfectly selected, perfectly aged.
Well, the good news for everyone is that we've had an hour's cricket this morning, which we didn't necessarily expect because the forecast wasn't great, but the rain has moved north. Bad news from an England perspective, for England supporters, is that no wickets have fallen. And it's not been the best of mornings, it must be said. This was unfortunate. Ollie Pope diving and has clearly injured his left shoulder that he had an operation on last year, so he left the field. James Bracey came on to replace him and immediately pinged 4 overthrows, totally unnecessarily, and was ordered into short leg as a result. England created one chance off Jimmy Anderson that Joss Buttler didn't lay a glove on. It hit him in the thigh. It did swerve a bit, but was a regulation chance. And Abid Ali and Shan Masood have really looked untroubled thereafter, taken the score to 34. Anderson and Broad have been replaced by Archer and Wokes. And Pakistan battling hard, taking their cue from their captain yesterday, Azhar Ali, who made a brilliant 141. They remain 276 behind. Introduction of Michael Holding to the commentary usually brings wickets. Morning, Mike. You're a good omen normally.
Morning, Athens. Not too sure that Pakistan will be happy with that. Two openers don't need to put a good partnership together. They have been a little bit disappointing. Abid Ali, the only one since Shan Masood's century to look as if he has any stickability. Shan Masood would have a bit disappointed after such a great start. So I have not got too many since then.
Archer then, who bowled in short spells yesterday, bowled quickly, and then in his third spell was asked to kind of go into that short pitch mode, which I always think is okay for a bit of a change, but never like to see it too long. At the start this morning has been targeting the stumps, as he did in his first 2 spells yesterday. Bowled quickly at times yesterday, very quickly, regularly above 90 miles an hour. But nothing in the column that matters. A long stay biosecure bubbles for these Pakistan players. In test match terms, obviously we've got some T20s to come, but I think that's why the innings from Azhar Ali yesterday was so important. Everybody takes a lead from the captain, and the captain was saying, we're not done yet, still in here fighting. Remember we were talking yesterday, Mikey, about the dart balls, why bowlers choose the dart balls, and whether it's superstition or or not. I had a text from former England bowler Mike Selby saying generally the better die produces the dart balls, and you might think that it would shine up better. We were wondering why bowlers always try and pick the very darkest balls, whether it's just superstition or whether there's any science in it. But then he went on to say that he knows some bright red balls that swung round corners as well.
All in the head.
.36 for none.
All in the head.
.36 for none.
Personal Capital wants to know, do you have a plan for your finances?
I have a plan for retirement.
Personal Capital wants to know, do you have a plan for your finances?
I have a plan for retirement.
For college savings.
For investing, I can see all of my accounts and my investments.
All my investments and more in one place.
I feel good about my finances. Finally. Download the free Personal Capital app today. You can feel good about your finances, and Personal Capital is here to help. Visit personalcapital.com today.
It's all the same. You see the umpires with the rings that they use to measure them. You don't see any difference.
Games that athletes play in their own heads to get themselves in the right frame of mind, or a confident frame of mind.
No.
We've all done it though, haven't we? I mean, I can remember episodes where you're just in poor form and you have to find artificial ways of convincing yourself that you're in decent nick and that you're going to do well.
A lot of this game is played in the head. Rudy Webster, who managed the West Indies team during World Series cricket, will tell you a lot about that.
I don't think so. You mentioned Rudy Webster there. That was the start of sports psychology, really, wasn't it? I know it's accepted now, generally accepted, that all athletes and all teams will use sports psychologists to some degree or other, but it was very unusual then when Rudy Webster worked with West Indies.
Yeah, very unusual. I'd never heard of anyone really using a sports psychologist. And Rudy pretty much made his name with AFL, the Australian football league that they have down there.
And were all West Indies players of that generation open and curious enough, open-minded enough to accept somebody coming in to the team from outside with that kind of slightly different expertise?
Well, not everyone sought out Rudy, put it that way. I know he worked quite a bit with Bib, but I can't say that everyone was knocking on his door. The thing is, though, Athers, that Rudy didn't really force himself on anyone. He didn't force anyone to be thinking the way he was thinking or trying to tell anyone exactly what to do and what not to do. He was the manager of the team, and he was always available if he wanted to go and have a chat. But he never had formal sessions, per se. He certainly did a lot of work with AFL teams, which I know he was successful with.
No! No.
38 for none.
hiring is challenging, especially for key roles.
Finding the right people is a very difficult task. ZipRecruiter finds us the best people for the job. They sent my jobs to the top job sites and found people with the right skills and experience. We've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
ZipRecruiter, rated the #1 hiring site. Try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/race.
About the mental aspect of the game, were there many very superstitious cricketers in that West Indies team of yours or not? I don't think you were you especially?
Definitely not. Superstitious cricketers. No, I can't remember any in the team I played in, to be honest.
Good running.
Just looking at Archer and each delivery that he has bowled, he doesn't seem to be getting a great deal either through the air or off the pitch. So now that he's bowling to the left-hander, he perhaps has to decide exactly how he's going to get this left-hander out, Chan Masood. Is he going to push it across his body? Seems as if he wants to go around the wicket, which I think might be a better idea since he's getting no movement. Then he can start using the crease, using the angle on the crease. Now he's staying over. Needs to be jumping a little bit wider than I would think and push it across, but not starting that wide. If you're not getting the ball itself to do anything, either through the air or off the pitch, then you have to start using the crease, delivering from different parts on the crease so that you're creating different angles yourself instead of the ball.
Lights haven't come on yet. It is quite gloomy now with these dark clouds above. Archer, as if listening to Michael Holding, immediately changes angle. Come round the wicket. Immediately beats the outside edge.
Well, he'll get the batsman to play at more deliveries by coming round the wicket. Because if you're pushing it across, the ball isn't doing anything and all you're doing is pushing it across the left-hander's body. As we saw when he was over the wicket, pitching it just on off stump, the batsman doesn't have to play at all.
Lights just cranking into action here at the Ageas Bowl. 40 for none.
लॉकडाउन लाया नॉर्मल लाइफ में स्पीड ब्रेकर, इसलिए उगा रहा हूं चावल और चला रहा हूं ट्रैक्टर। पर अब सीन पलटेगा।
Solid start for Pakistan. Shan Masood 13, who's had a struggle since that very good 100 he made up at Emirates Old Trafford. Abid Ali is 21. Lights are on, and Richard Illingworth's got his light intensifiers on.
No!
Think of a batsman I've seen who has batted in those light intensifiers, although it kind of begs the question, why not? Very wise call from Abid Ali.
To be honest, I tend to think of those glasses that I see cricketers wearing or having as more style than substance. They spend more time on the caps than anything else. And Shan Masood still not too sure exactly how the calling should go. They're now going to meet in the middle, have a chat, get it sorted.
Burns, the fourth umpire, with dreaded light meter. Of course, the umpires will have taken a reading at 7 o'clock last night when play was finally abandoned for the day for bad light. Pitched outside. We might see a bit of Dom Bess as well, not necessarily because of the light, just that England haven't had a breakthrough yet. The group may feel it's time for a bit of spin. 41 for none, 18 gone. Combination of the rain that you can see there, the bad light, so the players leave the field, so Pakistan can be very happy with their morning's work so far. England less so. Created one chance, didn't take it. A little bit scrappy in the field from time to time, and can't get through this opening partnership, which is resilient. So Anderson remains on 598 wickets. Just about to see Dom Bess, and at some stage, whether depending on how long this delay is or at lunchtime, we'll show a really nice interview that Dom Bess did in the player zone this morning with Shane Warne, talking about spin and his action, areas of improvement. It's a good conversation between a young spinner learning his trade and an old master. Quite heavily now. So well done to Pakistan's openers, Shan Masood and Abid Ali, who have taken the score to 41 this morning in the 18 overs that we've seen. Shan Masood offered that one chance that was spurned by Jos Buttler. Other than that, no great alarms. Anderson and Broad had a burst of 9 overs between them. Anderson was the unlucky bowler with that edge put down. Wokes and Archer 9 overs since. Nothing in that right-hand column. Match situation, Pakistan still trailing by 269, but they're in there fighting hard. Quite sure how much rain we'll get. It looks a little bleak, but not too bad to the right where the weather has been coming from. Let's hope, fingers crossed, that we don't get too much. But for now, with covers on and the sheets being unrolled to keep that square in order, we'll take a short break.